Economic Empowerment Show. And I'm super excited this evening because we're going to do something just a little bit different, and probably for the next few Wednesdays, we're gonna do something different. So you all know, early morning, 6:30, I have the 60-day challenge, and I am on day 10, and it's going phenomenally well. I have some very supportive sisters who have embraced my presence on the live stream. We've been having um, some very fruitful conversations, a lot of content, a lot of opportunity to kind of get yourself in order when it comes to health and wellness. And out of one of the live streams came a conversation. Turn my little self, I'm trying to get right. One of the live streams came a conversation that had to do with a medical issue that kind of plagued women. And so although this live stream is going to be very beneficial to my sisters out there, please, brothers, do not neglect it, because you have a sister, you have a mother, you have wives, you have significant others, you have friends. And so if you recognize some of the information that Sister DeShondra is going to put forward, then you would be able to better assist in that. And so I definitely want to introduce our guest. As you can see on the screen, she is one of the most dynamic sisters that I've ever met, transitioning. I won't go all into it because I get super excited about her transformation, but I want everybody to listen, hit the like button, share the video, make sure you go to my channel, hit the subscription. I need about 285 subscribers to get to that $1,000 mark. So I know you guys, wait, hey, since this is Love Month, this is Black History Month, and we support one another, don't you want to see us to get to that 285? Don't you want to see us to get to that 285? It will be such an awesome blessing to get there, right? So make sure you hit the like, make sure you hit subscribe, make sure you share the video, get your daughters, get your mothers, get your sisters, your friends, your lovers, your wives, and your significant others. Get them all in, have them tune in, because the sister is getting ready to keep it not just real, but to tell you some information that's going to benefit you, that's going to help you from personal experience throughout the way. So if you guys help me welcome my sister, DeShondra Brown.
Boom, boom. Peace and power, everyone. Thank you, Mo. Thank you, Mo. It has been a pleasure to be a part of your journey. I can't stress enough, like, just seeing Mo go through her day to day and everything she doing, it is very powerful. So what came about was we started talking and we got on the subject just about taking care of our bodies, making sure we're taking care of us, making sure we're understanding what we're doing. If you're out there, if you're on the call, if you have something to add, please do. If you have some questions, put them in the chat. Just a disclosure, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a certified PA or nurse or anything like that. All I'm trying to do is share my journey with what I've dealt with the disease of endometriosis and uterine fibroids. It's something that it goes unchecked on a regular basis.
Slow down. Pause. You moving. You impassioned and excited. You just going. Like,
you know,
slow all the way there.
You already know.
Slow down. You don't went 50 miles an hour. Tell the audience a little bit about you. What do you do? Tell them about your business, and then tell them the topic that we're going to discuss. There's a lot of people, and so, like, slow it down, because I mean, you're getting it. I thought I talk fast. I'm like, damn, Florida is getting it in.
Hey, in Florida, you know, I'm a meat and potatoes girl, so I try to give you the meat and potatoes. So I'm a rein it in for Mo. I'm gonna rein it on in. So my name is DeShondra Brown. I am a athlete. I'm a bodybuilder, and I am also a personal trainer. You can follow me at DeShondra on Instagram. You can see my transitional story. I'll be rolling out an online program beginning March 1st through the 31st. It'll be online. You can reach me, you can inbox me from there. Um, I am based out of Florida, as Mo said, so I am a Florida girl. So home base is Florida, but you can train with me anywhere. Bodybuilding is a passion that I've had since I was a very young girl, and kind of got off track, got lost in the sauce, as Mo would say. And then I had to rein myself back in. I've been bodybuilding for now about 3 years. My trainer tells me, yes, the trainer has a trainer. So you'll notice a lot of athlete professionals, just like a football player or anyone else, they have a trainer. So even as a bodybuilder, I have a trainer. You can't see your mistakes from the view that someone see them in, and I wouldn't call them mistakes, but I would say where you can grow, where you can improve, where you can put in the extra work, things like that. You never see it. However, others see that within you, and I have a great trainer from the bodybuilding aspect. I wouldn't trade her for the world. So as Mo has shown you here, about 3 years ago, there was a photo taken. I was traveling abroad on the beach, minding my own business. We came back. I'm like, "Ooh, that was a nice vacation." Got back, somebody sent me a photo. When I saw the photo, I was like, "Who is that lady?" When I saw that photo, and actually, Mo, this photo, actually, I had came down probably about 7 pounds. So when I took this photo, I think I was
Wow.
160 something. We ain't gonna even put that number out there. But so when I was on vacation, I was probably 170 something, a little or a little bit over. So I started a online program myself, and from there, probably around February of this is 2019, 18, probably February of 2018 is when I got really serious. And well, I won't say got serious. I started back putting myself first and my health and making the time, because we get lost and we make time for everything else. And this one thing had gone by the wayside for me. Most of the time we have something, whether it be our personal health, whether it be we lose a loved one, whether it be we lose a job, whether we get in a financial impact, whether our kids are going through something, there's always a trigger that puts us in that mode of, I wouldn't say, um it's almost like we lose the ability to love ourselves and our self-worth, and just pouring into yourself, and we forget our emotional bank is it's like your bank. If you don't make deposits and there are only withdrawals, you hit a wall, and then you forget about where you're trying to go. So one day, when I got the picture, I looked in the mirror and I was like, nah, this is not me. Because I'm the girl that ran track, like how you always say, Mo, you play basketball. I ran track. I was very athletic. I always stayed busy. I always found things to do. I always made the point to be active. And again, like I said, I had a event to happen and I lost sight of that. There's the story. Here's where I started from. The picture in the middle is my very first competition. And my very first competition, I placed third. After we went from there, we had another competition. And the picture to the right of that is my actual, um, this is the competition. I did one more this past year through COVID. I trained, but this picture that you see here is a competition. That was my second competition. I placed third. But that competition was very important to me because the first competition, I did not see my own personal growth. But by this second competition, the caliber of growth and the self love that I poured into myself, I was able to reflect that, and everyone could see it. And I said all of that to say, a lot of times we go on this health journey and we kind of forget about what's important, but we have to understand that it's a mind, body, and soul type transition. It's not just transition in the body. And I think that is what's kept me on the path. Um, and as I've been there with Mo over, I think we're on day 9, I think 10, day 10. traveling her journey with her, it's just made me more passionate. And we kind of got on the conversation about a disease that plagues women. It's kept quiet. No one really talks about it. But I say for everyone who's listening or in the chat, everyone knows 5 women that are affected by these diseases, whether they are affected in combination or whether they are affected one or the other. Um, I want to say the first experience that I had, it really was an experience. It wasn't an experience of knowing what the disease was. It was just like, hey, you have this thing and we're going to try this thing. And I was like, okay, whatever. I was young. I mean, I had to be probably about 19 or 20. Yes, first first experience of running into having any issues with my female organs, and that's like your fallopian tubes, your uterus, your inside walls, everything that you need that makes you that woman to carry and birth a child into this world. I was about 19 or 20, so I paid it no attention. I didn't really know what it was. So we were away from home. My husband was in the military, so we were actually stationed in Jacksonville, North Carolina. So I'm out here by myself, a young wife, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm whatever they say, that's what it is. So, needless to say, I was there. We were there. We were stationed there for about 5 years. We were there, left, came back home. So now this thing has gone unchecked, untreated, undiagnosed for about 6 years. So then in 2001, I get back here and I think maybe my second or third obstetrician appointment, it was like, hey, you have this thing. I'm like, yeah, they said back then I had a thing, but then they gave the thing a name. They said, oh, by the way, we want to let you know you have some uterine fibroids. So I'm like, what's that? Me clueless. So now I'm about what? Probably about 24, somewhere in there, 23. I'm like, I have no clue what that is. So then as time went on, not only did I have fibroids, but I had endometriosis. I don't know if anyone knows the difference, but they're not one and the same. The one thing I think this came about, Mo, because like I said, it goes unchecked, it goes untalked about until someone famous mentions it. But again, every woman, every man probably, I mean, there's husbands, boyfriends, fathers on this line, you know, at least 5 women that's dealing with this. They might not tell you that, or it get around that time and they like, I don't want to be bothered. You see, they don't want to get out the bed. You see, they double over in pain. There is a reason. They're not making this up. It's not in our heads. It's not, oh, I just don't want to be bothered, or I just don't want to do this today, or I just don't want to go this place today. Sometimes women during their menses, during that time of the month, they are having such bad experiences. Some of them don't even want to leave their house. I was one of those women. So, I mean, I said all of that to say, like, we need to advocate for ourselves. Like I said, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nurse, I'm not a PA, but the only thing I can tell you is if you have something going on from a female perspective and they haven't given it a diagnosis, we need to advocate for ourselves. We need to ask the right questions. We have so much research at our hands now, or we know somebody in our network that knows somebody that knows somebody. If you're going through it, you need to kind of reach out to those people, and we need to stop being hush hush about it, because you're not alone. Like with anything, no one person is going through it. So endometriosis basically is the tissue that normally lines the uterus. It grows outside of your uterus, is what causes endometriosis. And what happened is that lining that is growing outside of your uterus, it attaches itself to your ovaries, to your fallopian tubes. It can attach itself to your intestinal walls. It can attach itself to your other organs. It can get into your urinary tract line. That endometriosis is like a spider vein, and it can just attach itself to everything. So that's, you don't want it to go unchecked or just be like, oh well, it'll be all right, I'll wait a year or two. Just like with anything else that is ailing our body, we need to figure out what's going on so we can figure out what's going to be the best plan of action. No, it may not be a medication. I mean, I'm not a doctor. I've tried, they've put me on several medications. I could tell you about that too. We'll go into that. But whether it's trying to change your eating, trying to get more active, seeing if it's in your food, seeing if it's something you're putting in your body, seeing if it's something you're putting on your body. No one really has a reason, a rhyme or reason. It's just like, well, it could be hereditary. Maybe it's based on your diet. There really hasn't been, to my knowledge, a true pinpoint of what is causing it. So that's what I'm always asking a doctor, Mo, like I'm always like, what causes it? So
you overseas? Y'all went overseas? Y'all were
no, we were
stationed
in
in
Jackson. We were actually stationed. We left from Jacksonville, Florida to Jacksonville, North Carolina, Marine Corps base. And that's one of the biggest Marine Corps bases. So um the second disease is fibroids. So fibroids, you can have fibroids either inside your uterus or outside of your uterus. So most of the time they'll say, oh, you got a benign this or that. It's just a non-cancerous growth that either grows in your uterus or on the outside of your uterus. But most women have them inside of their uterus. And they can range in size. It can be as small as a sunflower seed, and they can be as big as a grapefruit. Some of them can be bigger than that. Some of them can weigh pounds when they take them out. Research, look up the photos, talk to your doctor about it. If you're experiencing it, or you've gone through any procedures, you've probably had the opportunity to see them. I've had the opportunity to see mine like in photos. So, well, after they take them out, of course. So, a few procedures so I'm going to take you back to the beginning. When we very first found out and it didn't have a name, I don't know if anyone else has had this, but one sign may be when they tell you, hey, we want to do this procedure because we found some abnormal cells. They don't give those abnormal cells a name before they do a procedure. You need to be asking questions. So what they did was called a cryogenic freezing. They said, we're going to do a cryogenic freezing and we're going to freeze the abnormal cells. Again, I'm 19 or 20. I called my mom, she was like, hey, it's not a surgery. Go ahead. Let's see what they do. Blah, blah, blah. They did that, but it didn't get rid of anything. It only made it dormant. So for the next few years, my opinion, again, this is my opinion, by me allowing them to do a cryogenic freezing, I keep thinking like, had I not did that, would it have manifested itself sooner and it could have been found and treated versus it went dormant. So every time I went to go have my check done, there was really no issues. But around the time of my menses, I was still in pain. So I'm saying when you get that red flag, yes. But again, with the cells being frozen, I don't know. That's some of the things, like as I went through this process and my journey, I'm like, man, maybe if I wouldn't have let them do that, would they have found it earlier? But who knows? But I'm just saying, if someone tells you you have abnormal cells, then I would be asking some questions. But I was young, so I was like, I'm away. It's the military. I'm at the doctor. I'm like, okay, they know what they're doing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I've gone through a second procedure. I know some women, you do have to go on medication, such as they'll try to give you a deprolupron. It's like a process, like you may have to take that for 6 months. There's other medication regimens that your doctor may put you on as far as a plan of treatment. Ask your doctor, what is the end result? What's going to be the outcome of this? Like, if I take this, what is it supposed to do? Is it going to help these things? How is it going to treat it? Blah, blah, blah. Because and I have a very good OB. I've been going to my OB for 17 years, 17, probably 18 years. Very good. So before we went on a medicated version, we tried everything. I came off birth control. We tried to make sure it wasn't the foods I was eating. We tried to monitor that. We tried to do all of that, but it just it manifested and it became a problem, like affecting. And most women, Mo, even the women that you know, most women that's dealing with this, it affects their livelihood. It affects their ability to go. Sometimes it's some women cannot get out of the bed.
Mm.
I mean, like you literally cannot get out of the bed. You're in so much pain, you can't get out of bed. What I don't want people to do is go to the doctor and the doctor just say, oh, here goes some pain medication and here you go. And you don't deal with it. And it's like every time you get your menses, once a week, you're having to take pain medication just to function. Just to be able to get up and go out your door.
Doesn't it also affects them when they're being intimate?
Yes, it does.
People have pain.
And men, I'm telling you, if you don't believe your wife, just go to the doctor with her. If you don't believe your girlfriend, ask her, can you come sit in one of her OB appointments. Intercourse, having intercourse is very, very uncomfortable. I'm gonna say that again. Sometimes you don't know how many times your significant other has laid there in pain because they don't want to make you feel a certain type of way. They've done it already. Yeah, they've done it already. So they're just at the point like, well, hey, I can't take that no more this month. You know what I'm saying? It affects your ability to move. It affects your intimate moments. You're absolutely correct, Mo. I mean, it has affected my lifestyle to the point where I was like, we're not gonna be able to do that at all, sir. I'm sorry.
And the reason I brought that up because I was just diagnosed recently with fibroids in December, and she was asking me because I was like, wait, what? What I got? What I got? I'm like, I'm like, what? What is that? Like, what do I got? But when she said it, I knew a lot of female veterans that came back from Iraq, Afghanistan, all had feminine issues. A lot of them were having hysterectomy. And I was like, man, maybe it missed me. So when she said it, I was like, damn, I didn't get missed. And then she's like, why haven't, she's like, have you ever had any issues? I was like, well, I remember last year, I don't know, maybe around August or so, I thought I was pregnant because I was bleeding too much. You know, I had bled a second time in a month. And then I was like, this is weird, you know? So I said, well, maybe I had a miscarriage or something. That's what I thought in my mind. And so I called, you know, I said, hey, I think I got something going on. It was like, what? I said, you know, I bled too much. I said, I ain't look at it, but I don't know if I passed something, you know, maybe I don't know. And, you know, and so she was, you know how they do us, when we go to the doctor. And so I'm talking to her on the phone. She was like, well, she was asking me different questions, and I suspect it didn't meet the whole pregnancy thing. So it was like, well, let's wait to see what happened next month. I'm like, shit, next month I could be dead. You know, maybe if I bled out, I'm like, it's like next month, okay. So I wasn't too far from having my cycle again. And I can remember, I think it's September, came in, and then I just was bleeding a lot. And I was like, ugh. I'm like, man, when I say bleeding, I thought, you know how, I don't know if you ever been around them shooting a hog before. And all
you
the
started looking at it. Yes, you started looking at it then, right?
Yes, because I was like, I'm talking like the thickest pads. Because I had never had that issue before. I had blood clots before.
Sometimes you got to put on two.
Listen, let me tell you what mine was doing. And I do apologize, y'all. This is like raw and cut. I'm sorry. We just got to keep it straight real because I know somebody else is dealing with that. Mine would run off the pad. It wouldn't even soak in. And I'm like, I called my mama. I said, I can't even control my cycle. She said, what do you mean? I said, it's liquefied. It's just running off the, so it was coming up the back. It was so bad. I didn't know. So the whole year, of course, I'm going through it. I'm like, I don't know what's, they said nothing, right? So this past what happened, I was standing and then I have like this movement, right? And I was like, ooh, I think I may have gotten pregnant for real this time. Like, okay, it might be getting real up in this piece, right? So dramatic, right? And I was like, it was, and so I was like, Mom, I think I can start moving around the holidays. And she was like, what's wrong? I was like, well, it doesn't hurt. It just feel like it's moving. I don't know. So took a pregnancy test. I wasn't pregnant. So I called the doctor. I was like, hey, something has to be going on. I can't put my hand on this. I wasn't having pain. So when she asked me, was I having pain having sex? And I was like, no, I wasn't having pain having sex. I didn't really get it. So they said, we're going to order you an ultrasound. I was like, okay, cool. We had an ultrasound. And I kid you not, the girl put that little jelly stuff on there. She had that little thing on. It wasn't even a minute. And she was like, oh. And I'm like, oh, what you mean? Oh, you say you got fibroids. I'm like, what the hell? She said, and then look, what gets me, fibroids. I said, what's this? You got more than one. I'm like, wait, hold on, push pause. How does this happen? So of course I relate mine back to the desert because I had an ultrasound prior to that, and I didn't have, that was detected. But you said something key because you said initially when you had the issue, it was this unknown issue.
Correct.
So when I think back, when you said it the other day, and I started thinking back over my lifespan, what they say when you get your women wellness, and I'm like, somebody been lying. I don't know, somebody been lying. So I'm not really sure when or how it happened. That's why I asked about the pain deal, and I don't really know. So I'm learning from you. I don't even really know. So the first thing came to my mind, like I said, I thought, this is my last go around. I'm like, okay, maybe I can get this baby in, you know what I'm saying? Let me see who I can trick in this piece or whatever. But then when she said that, I'm like, oh, hell, am I going to be able to get it in? Am I not going to be able to get it in? And then when that medicine you named, they gave me that. I didn't even add, matter of fact, my appointment is on the 9th. I'm supposed to see the OBYG. And I didn't even ask, what it's supposed to do. Is it supposed to, it's supposed to, I don't even, I don't even know what's supposed to happen with this stuff. Like how it's supposed to happen. But I know I asked her, I said, can you tell me worst case scenario, best case scenario, what can be done? And she said, of course, she mentioned a removal deal. She didn't say how. She said it could be real. I asked, she's like, well, I don't think it's unhealthy. So I didn't know what that meant. I don't know if that meant I didn't have endometriosis.
Endometriosis. Yeah, because they're different.
Right. I don't know if that meant that, something else that would happen along with the uterus. I don't know if that meant that, or if it just meant that it's something that could be passed. I'm like clueless. And so I suspect, listening to your story and what it could be, that maybe I'm in the beginning stages or something of catching it. I don't know.
Well, probably not endometriosis because everybody don't have both. That's what I'm saying. Okay. Everybody don't have both. But now that you have fibroids, I would say, hey, what can be done to check to make sure I don't have endometriosis as well? Right. Because endometriosis cannot be seen on an ultrasound. It cannot be seen on an ultrasound. The way we found out that I had endometriosis, remember, I moved back here after I was having the same issues, like you say. You have pain with cycles. Your cycles are so heavy. Some women out there are wearing a tampon, 2 super pads, yes, 2 pair of underwear, bicycle shorts, another pair of shorts, and then their pants just to go outside. Because their body is trying to release that much on a monthly basis. And sometimes it may be 7 days. Sometimes it might be 10 days. Some days it might be 14 days and you don't have it for 3 days. Then you back on another 7 days, depending on how bad you are. For everyone, each person's body is different. And this thing affects everybody in a different aspect. But what I'm saying is, if you have uterine fibroids, anybody who's out there listening, I will be asking my doctor, how you gonna make sure I don't have endometriosis as well? Because the uterine fibroids, they can go in and they can take those fibroids out, right? But if the endometriosis gets out of control, we're gonna get to that in a few minutes on what that can lead to. So basically, Mo, you already know the medication regimens, but they'll also try, some people may have had a procedure called I don't know if I got the right name. It's like, I don't know the name of it, but I had this procedure done. Well, they'll go in and they'll try to freeze the lining to your uterus. Because again, it's not a ablation, it's something with an A. I don't know the name. Again, I'm not a doctor, but I had it done. And what it does is it's supposed to, and that's why in my mind now it triggers, like, if I wouldn't have let them do that first procedure, then maybe it wouldn't have been dormant, because we came back and they tried to do whatever this was to freeze the lining of my uterus. So you know what I'm saying? And that's how my new OB kind of explained to me, like, hey, this should kind of take the lining of your uterus, so it kind of stops you from having a normal cycle, in a sense, a normal menses in a sense. So that's why now I think back, and I've really never shared this story or information with anyone. This is the first I've shared this with people openly. So that made me think back, like, dang, if I wouldn't have did that at first, had it been caught sooner. So that's why I say, when you find out you have an issue, try to ask all the questions. Go do some research. Try to ask people that you know that might be a nurse, or that might know a physician, or work in a hospital, or work with a doctor, or work with an OB. Ask questions, so that way you can get the information, right? So then after that, what we did, Mo, was I had to have a laparoscopic procedure for them to remove the fibroids. But guess what? When they went in, they were able to remove them, but they found the endometriosis through the laparoscopy.
Wow.
So mind you now, we're like 4 procedures in, right? We 4 procedures in.
And they just now noticing the
endometriosis, because it can't be seen with the naked eye. Can't see it on the sonogram.
So what's exactly happening? So like your uterus, is it like ripping it, expanding it, or something? Is it like,
so your uterus is supposed to, if there's a lining on the inside of your uterus, if
right.
I'm explaining it correctly, there's a doctor out there in the chat, kind of, you can educate us a little bit better, but there's a lining it should be on the inside of your uterus, but it starts growing outside of your uterus. So it's like that lining attaches itself. It's like I don't know, like veins, I guess. That's how I've always put it in my mind.
I'm thinking a scary movie.
Yeah.
You know the scary movie?
Because it's kind of
things
like
come out, the alien.
Because it can attach itself to your ovaries, it can attach itself to your fallopian tubes, to your intestines. So it can attach onto your other organs. So I always saw it as being like Spider-Man. If that endometriosis is on the outside of your uterus, it's like, psh, wherever it want to go, it has free range to go. I mean, that's what I'm saying. So if you have fibroids, I was kind of asking the doctor to kind of, hey, can you check this thing out too while we on this road? So, and fibroids, they don't affect everybody the same way, Mo. Some women have them and they don't know it, because their body is not exuding that pain. So they could be walking around with it for 3 years. I think personally, like, when we go get our wellness check, I feel like they should be doing a sonogram at least to check for fibroids. That's a sign.
Yeah.
You make me get a mammogram. You check, you checking all my walls while you're in there. You're doing all of that. You're taking your little swab. It's nothing more to pull out a sonogram and do it on my stomach, at least to see if I have fibroids, because you can see them on a sonogram. They can measure them on a sonogram. They can tell you how many you have on a sonogram.
Right. And I can tell you, when I know, because she asked me, she said, you have you noticed you picked up weight in your stomach? I was like, yeah, I never had weight in my stomach. And I'm like, how in the world I start getting weight in my stomach? She said, yeah, in your lower part. I was like, yeah, like, I'm like, where this come from? You know? And she's like, that's why, because the fibroids is causing you to have the weight in your midsection.
And some women have fibroids that are so big, they'll look like they're 3 months, 6 months pregnant. Because what they're doing is your uterus is expanding. If you just imagine, if you got 4 fibroids inside of your uterus the size of a grapefruit, that means your stomach is the size of a basketball. I'm not trying. Yeah, I'm telling you, your stomach could be the size of a basketball. That's 3 to 4 months pregnant. Some people that's 9 months, depending on how they feel. I mean, in their mind. And this thing, what we started doing is this thing goes unchecked, it goes untreated. Then we roll over into now we're hearing this conversation about, hey, you might not ever be able to have no kids. And I'm not being insensitive. I am keeping it real because I was sitting across the table, me and my husband, and we were told, we don't know if you're ever going to be able to have kids. Fortunately, I am one of the ones, I have a son. It is my only son because the ultimate end all be all came from me. And I now can't have any more kids. And it's not by choice.
Man.
So yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that's what I'm saying. We have to advocate for ourselves. And I really do. I don't know. I might have to look into that more because, like I said, this is my first time like really sharing my story with anybody. And I think because it kind of gets under my skin because it's like if we see it on a reality TV show or somebody famous mentions it or they put it on some pander somebody in front of a campaign, then it's okay. But we as normal women, we're dealing with this every day. Women every day are having to decide, do I try to have a child and risk my livelihood or do I have this hysterectomy? Women every day is having that, well, I got to call out from work for a week and worry about if I'm going to lose my job because I don't want to mess up my clothes on these people's jobs. Women every day are risking their marriage because their spouse or their significant other think like, hey, she just don't want to be intimate with me. She just making excuses because she's probably been in pain already for 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years. And that day she might just be like, I just can't do this today. I can't muster up the strength. I'm hurting on the inside. I can't, you know what I mean? It makes all of your walls inside hurt, all of them. So I'm just saying, this is something that, like I say, I feel that's my personal opinion. Once again, wellness check should include an ultrasound to check for fibroids. It's that common. You know what I mean? Like we got to get a mammogram every year, don't you? When you hit 40, every year when you hit 40, you got to get a mammogram. And fibroids and endometriosis is something that can start when you are in puberty, from what I've researched. So why would we not be checking this? As much technology we have, as much it don't cost that much money for them to put that little gel on your stomach and check your stomach. I'm just saying.
Say it again.
I check the box. I feel like check the box, bill the insurance company or bill Medicaid or bill whoever paying for it. You know what I'm saying? You getting paid for me to be there anyway. Duh. So after I had that procedure done, I went a few more years, pain still, all of that, came back with a vengeance. We went to another surgery. This is the ultimate surgeries, ladies. It's a lot of ladies sitting out here that's facing this and they're having to face it with their significant other when you're told you have to have a myomectomy.
A who and a what?
A myomectomy. A myomectomy is it's like you giving birth to a baby by a cesarean. That's what it is. But you're not giving birth. They're going in to take the fibroids out because they're so big, they can't take them out through a laparoscopic procedure. So mind you, I had already had them taken out before. So I had already had them taken out before. One time I had them removed. So after they were removed, sorry, somebody keep calling in. Sorry, Mo. They were removed and they came back because once you get fibroids removed, that's not the end all be all. They can come back. They can return. They can grow back. So just because they remove them once, don't think they don't come back. They come back. So I'm at the procedure. I'm having a myomectomy. They went in, they cut out all the fibroids. They got out what they could of the endometriosis. And boom, we good. We golden, right? Ladies, I don't know. I'm a firm believer in it. I'm not a doctor. Ask your OB. If you want to have kids, you go through that procedure. They clean up your uterus. You might want to consider that to be your time to be shaking and baking. I'm just saying. During that time, and I'm just saying what worked for me. After that time, I mean, I wasn't even looking to have a child, but my mom had told me that a nurse that worked with her had told her that by this time I had made up in my mind, if I don't have no child, I'm fine. We had already been married 10 years. We was on the go. I was like, hey, we good, bro. You good? You good? I'm good. That's how I was. But I know that doesn't work for every woman. Some women really, really want kids. Some women really want to birth a child into this world, and there is nothing wrong with that. And I don't want anyone to feel like I'm taking that away. I'm just saying where I was in my journey. I was over it because I had tried, it didn't happen, and I had made up in my mind what it wasn't gonna happen. But after I had the procedure, my mom was like, "This the time for you to try. This the time for you to do this." And some nurses that worked at the hospital with her. I'm like, man, I ain't got time for that. And lo and behold, probably like few months, a year or so later, found out I was pregnant. Had my son. Boom, that was it. So then a few years went by. Then it started coming back. Like the pain started coming back. The being doubled over, the heavy menses. It was like what in the head? Like, dang, I got a little reprieve for about 4 or 5 years. Like, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? So I had to be my early 30s when everything came back. Like I had my son at 28, got pregnant. I think I was like 27, something like that. Had my son at 28, and then for about 2 3 years, so it wasn't even 4 years, but 2 or 3 years, it was like the reset button. I was like, no, this can't be starting over. So I went to the doctor and we kind of had a conversation. We had a chat, and he was like, "Oh, so blah blah blah." And then I let 2 or 3 more years go by. Mind you, like he's telling me, like, if this is the time you want another kid, you might want to go ahead and do it. I'm like, nah, I'm good. So I was like, I don't think it'll get that bad. 2 or 3 years went by, and we started having deeper conversations. Like, hey, you're on the road to, I don't know how much longer you're going to be able to deal with this. You may have to have a hysterectomy. This is when we started talking hysterectomy, Mo.
And you were
So
30, you were 28?
I was 32, 32. I had my son at 28. So that's what I'm saying. Now, if you go, and this is again, if I would have went to this doc, if I would have gone to my doctor, and the first thing he would have told me was you need to have a hysterectomy, I would have ran because and I don't see a doctor tell. That's like me coming in and my toe is messed up, and you tell me I got to cut my foot off. Let me go find another podiatrist. So that's what I mean about we have to advocate for ourselves when it comes to the arena of our female wellness. You know what I mean? We have to advocate for ourselves, and we have to take that time and say, hey, you want me to do what? You haven't even, there's no other options. We haven't tried anything else. You're already talking a hysterectomy. Like you say, Mo, you asked worst case scenario.
Yeah.
If you wouldn't have asked, the doctor don't sound like they were going to say that to you.
Well,
But some people go and they like,
she,
hey.
well, the doctor didn't tell me. I was having a conversation with the specialist who was doing the ultrasound. And I told her I couldn't wait for no results for the doctor. I need you to tell me now because you know I'm gonna go look it up. The first thing I did was pick up my phone. So she said, "Now I'm only just telling you this." She was a sister, and I said, "I'm not gonna say anything. Just tell me." And so she told me I had to deal with it. Girl, I cried like a baby because I ain't gonna take no fibs. I was crying. They was like, I was so down. It was like, what's wrong? I was like, man, for me, it was like a life and death type situation. I'm like, I'm at risk of not being able, it's enough. It's hard to get a little young fella to rub up against a sister. Now you're telling me I can't even get, I can't even,
Yeah.
oh my God. I'm like, oh, hold on. This is too much. It was very difficult to process. It's one thing, as you may mention, to not want to do it. And it's one thing to be it taken away, that right being taken away. And so it's often as I see a physician, and I just looked up and I remember having a LEAP exam. So I was trying to relate the two. Like, did you already know something was brewing up and you didn't know? So of course I'm gonna go look in my medical records and do a little bit more research, but um, it's devastating. And so sometimes when you have the conversation about, I'm just getting the courage to be transparent about this whole medical journey. Because before, uh, people kind of, they take your information like unsecure. They say some of the darnest things, right? And sometimes I sit and I be looking like, I'm actually dealing with this. Like if I didn't have a certain suicide would have been definitely at the door long time ago, because people are very insensitive. And so when you try to, and I remember going asking to speak to a psychologist based on the whole medical deal. And I can remember, I had the first psychologist I had, he was so humble, and he kind of let me bring myself in. But the first four appointments, I just cried. I couldn't say anything. I just was crying, crying, crying. And so the next time I can remember having a very insensitive one. And I'm like, I remember there was a sheriff in Richland County, Columbia, that had committed suicide. He had left out of work, went around a bit and committed suicide. So I told the psych at the time, I said, you know what you just said to me? I can go just like that, Sharon. I told her his story. I said, look it up. I could leave out here right now and commit suicide. You know what? Because you don't realize the trigger that you just triggered. You just, um, you just took my information and just totally handled it just so
Just
unprofessionally.
toss it in the trash.
Yeah,
Toss it in the
and
trash.
as if I'm supposed to be just hard about this thing. Like, and sometimes I don't think they understand that if it's something new, you never dealt with before, never had that conversation, you never heard nobody talk about it, you don't know the severity, how it's gonna affect your life. And so for me, I'm devastated because I'm thinking, oh my God, it's the end of the world. And then I'm always thinking, just like with the whole knee deal and people wanting me to have knee surgery, I'm thinking like, okay, if I don't know all of what might could be going on with me, and you begin to start cutting and opening up, I'm like, oh, you're gonna have to cause more problems. So I would rather tough it out. So when you start talking about the female organ, I'm like, wait, so look at me, I'm so stupid, right? Because I say, okay, the uterus and the ovaries, which one the babies come out?
The baby is housed in your uterus.
I was trying to figure it out. I was like,
I know you like.
Now which one the babies?
You need all of them to make it work.
Yeah. So I was trying to figure out, okay, with the functionality of it. Like, okay, so if you're gonna mess with this, how is it gonna affect that? Like, and I know she was I say, I know this probably sound real stupid right now, but I'm gonna ask this question anyway. Which one of the babies come out again? She just
I'm telling you, man. But you haven't, I mean, what you're saying, Mo, you just being transparent about it. Like when I first found out, I think when I was like 23, I cried. I was like, I don't know what's going on with my body. I was like, oh my goodness. Then the same thing. I cried. Me and my husband had like in-depth conversations. I mean, so like I say, before I got to the point of being 28 and like made up my mind, like I don't want no kids. I did want kids, but I think because I had heard like you're never gonna have no kids, and I had gone through the trauma of, but I can say that my OB, my obstetrician, he is very caring. I mean, he's almost like a second dad to me. This is the relationship he and I have right now. He kind of held my hand and walked me through a lot of things. So it wasn't as traumatic, but just to hear like you may never be able to have kids. You know what I mean? Like that's like the ultimate like
it's a blow.
dun 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 dun.
Yes, I know. Like that.
So
You're like,
yes, I mean, like there was times like my husband went to the doctor with me and he had questions. So that's what I'm saying. Take your significant others with you, ladies. I mean, even if you have a boyfriend, y'all together for years, take him with you so they can be an advocate for this disease as well. I mean, when I tell you, Mo, every woman, I think when you start going to this, I think now we have more information about it, right? So we're aware of what it is, we know what it is, and as long as it's not affecting me, I just know somebody else got it. But if someone close to you or you're affected, you are, when you get that news, Mo, it is like, and some days you sitting there in sticker shock. Like,
Yes, I
did
was,
they just say that?
and
Like,
I
is
got
that what
mine
they
around
told
and I got the news around the holidays. So you know, I was just like, as a matter of fact, it was, it was, it was something else. Oh my God, I can't even remember. Let me tell you, I be trying to dismiss
me?
this
Was
stuff.
around Thanksgiving?
No, it was not
Thanksgiving?
Thanksgiving. It
So
was,
Christmas.
no, wait, I had two issues. I have two issues. One, the fibroid it jogs the memory because see what happens is like they tell me stuff and I cry and I know and I know it's gonna depress me. I'd be like, forget that. I don't want to think about
Yep.
that.
Close the
Don't talk to
door.
me.
Close the door. Put the lid
Don't
on it.
ask me. Don't talk to me about it. It's gone. It's dismissed. But I had two things going on. I had two things come back. One was right before Thanksgiving. Oh, this ain't even horrible. But I had to have a colonoscopy. But what
That is
brought the
horrible. I'm just
yeah
joking, Mom.
I know. Listen, it's crazy because you know I'm just as green. So what brought about the colonoscopy was the remember I had been having these bleeding issues, and so
Mm-hmm.
we were going through the procedures.
They
So
want to rule
first,
out. Yeah.
yes, the first test was to check the stool. So we checked the stool. They found blood in the stool, and when they found blood in the stool, they wanted to do the colonoscopy, right? So I just thought the end of the world. That was right before Thanksgiving. As a matter of fact, like the Friday or something, the Monday, whatever, before Thanksgiving. So I had to have a colonoscopy right before Thanksgiving. And then the day before I went to do that, then I had the ultrasound, and both of them at the same time. I thought my whole world was gone. I said, oh, I might have cancer in the and
But that's what you be thinking. I mean, like, even when you go there and they like, oh, you have these, most of the time they'll say, they won't say non-cancerous, they'll say you have these benign tumors. When I first heard that, I was like, oh my, what's going
my
on?
whole bottom about to fall out. That's what I thought.
Yeah. So, they use language that's over your head. So sometimes you got to ask the doctor, like, hey, look, I'm not a doctor. Can you just tell me what you're saying? But like I say, I did have a good mode. Like I say, my OB, he like a second dad to me. Like this man, he's delivered my child. He delivered one of my closest friend children. He delivered my niece child. And every time I just happen to be there and happen to be the one in the delivery room.
So talk about
So
that since you're talking about the doctor and how supportive and how professional and how he cared to your situation. Talk about Cedric. Talk about you know the support of the because
the
men
support of the spouse.
yeah because you may mention before because when I exposed it I don't even know if this person had called me first and I was in between or something but anyways I had made mention and he was very insensitive. I'm not a significant, not not like that or whatever. But I was like, though I can remember the first response was like, "Do you know I'm a woman? You know what you just said?"
Men
That was
don't
I didn't like it.
men don't understand, and I think I have a male OBGYN, so that's why I say, and I'm just gonna put that out there. I mean, not that I ever had a preference. I had to go to someone that works for me. No, seriously, I had to go with someone that works for me. I've had a female before, I've had another male doctor before, but this was the doctor that I found that I built. When you go into an OB, you're building a relationship. I'm not trying to be funny. We in a relationship,
Yeah, you
sir
about
or
to play with
ma'am. Sir or ma'am, we are in a relationship, whether you know it or not. You are on the right relationship road, okay? Because I feel violated. I'm just saying.
yeah.
But okay, but we're gonna go back to the spouse support.
Yeah.
So my husband has been very supportive. I mean, he's held me when I've cried. He's been there to pick me up when I'm like, this ain't right. Why me? Why me? Why I'm the worst person in the world? What did I do to deserve this? Because you have all kind of stuff going through your head when you start going through dealing with this disease. Not battle on, like I say, the fibroids, but when you have both, it is a stewing pot for a hysterectomy. And I'm gonna say that again. When you have both, it is a stewing pot for a hysterectomy. So That's what I'm saying. If you got fibroids, you need to be asking them, hey, can you check to see if I got endometriosis? How do we check for that? How do you rule that out? Because I've researched and I understand you can go out there and research it yourself. Don't take my word for it. Research it. Ask your doctor. You know
So
what I
can you
mean?
have can you have can you be pregnant and have fibroids?
Yes. Yeah, you will be pregnant and have fibroids. If you have fibroids, some women will be, I won't say you, some women will be pregnant and have fibroids. Been there, done that. But Cedric, I'm gonna go back to Cedric for a second. Cedric as a husband, he's been very understanding. I think at first he didn't understand because we did go through that intimacy period at first, and I had to explain, ladies, you have to explain. You can't just be like, look, I don't want to do this. You need to tell them, hey, we've gone to the doctor. I'm researching. Show them online. It's online. It shows the symptoms and the pain and all of that there. Take them to the appointment with you. Let them sit down. And I think because I kept Cedric involved, so every appointment that I went to, especially when it came to the possibility of a procedure or the possibility of a plan or a treatment, I made sure he was at those appointments because your significant other needs to be able to ask questions as well because they don't understand what you're going through. So I know as women, we independent, even though we got a significant other, we headstrong, we all of that. Keep them involved, and that don't men, be willing to listen, open up your ears, and don't kind of just like yeah, okay, yeah, all right, okay, okay. Don't pacify your significant other men. Listen and take in the information that they're giving you and don't take it for a grain of salt. Take it for what they're giving you at face value. Go to an appointment. If she don't offer, ask. Show that you're interested. Okay. So
I
and I'm
can
just saying that works on both sides.
I can see. So when you first had to have that conversation with Cedric in reference to what you were going through, how it felt, um, like how far into your marriage you probably had been dating Cedric before you got married, so you probably had um, kind of knew each other, kind of was comfortable.
Yeah, we were married. We was probably married already. Like, I mean, like when it got bad to that point, because it didn't get bad until it got bad. It was like mine went from it's okay to it was bad.
Oh,
That's what I'm saying. It affects everybody different. Some people can go in there and never have an issue with it. Some people can constantly have the issue. Mine was okay, they did this crowd. I'm good. I only got to worry about my cycle. But then, like I say, like early 2000s, when it got bad. So it was like I was going to the appointments and he was asking me these questions. And then we kind of got more into an appointment. I was keeping Cedric in the loop. I was like, hey, look, that's why he say this might be happening. That's why I say, can you go to my appointment with me? Because again, it wasn't that I would say at first, women, a lot of times, we're not going to turn our husbands away. So I wouldn't say anything at most times, but I would lay there in pain. That's why I said what I said. Because I want to satisfy and please my husband at the sacrifice of my pain. And women are doing that now, right now, today. And that's why I'm saying when your wife or your significant others are saying, hey, look, bro, I'm in pain today. I ain't gonna be able to do it. You need to understand. But those conversations need to be had on both sides. And when you need to have a two-way conversation and communicate and understand. You know what I'm saying? So it got to a point where we kind of had the conversation, and I was like, I can't do this. Like during this time, we're gonna have to not do this. It had been times where it got so bad with my situation, like we would go months because it was that bad. And
uh,
this was like right before I had the myomectomy. So that's what I'm saying. Like, this is something that we kind of gaff off, we kind of toss it in the bucket, we kind of be like, we put the lid on it, and as long as nobody bring it up, it's like I'm gonna deal with this thing in the dark. But we all need to deal with it in the light because it is what it is. And like I say, this is the first time, Mo, I think that, yeah, openly, this is the first time I've ever really kind of walked through this part of my life with anybody.
Well, listen, I greatly appreciate
Yeah.
you doing this, and to I mean, what sparked your interest to do it now, or to be comfortable enough to do it now? I mean, looking at, of course, looking at your, let me put that up for people who have not seen, looking at your photos, and so you start talking about having surgery in the midsection area. Looking at the photos, or even looking at the first one, the transformation in the very first photo or whatnot. Um, to recognize, or to wow, she's actually been through this, and it's actually affected her body. It's amazing on the transition. Because you said they did the second deal was kind of like a C-section, which means they had to cut you.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then when I had my son, I had a C-section because a most OBGYNs, is not that you can. Once you have that surgery, you give birth, it will be by cesarean.
Mm.
Because you've already been cut open as if you've had a cesarean. So just like with anything, it weakens your uterus when you go through that procedure because your uterus is being cut open. So it weakens that ability to go into labor and have that child pushed out and birthed through the vaginal canal. I felt robbed. And I'm gonna say that.
I can.
This the first time I've ever said that out loud. I felt robbed. I remember going to my OBGYN when we found out we were pregnant and we were having a discussion. And he said, well, you're going to be scheduled, right? I said, what you mean? He said, you have to have a cesarean. He was like, there's no way I can risk you going into labor.
Mm.
So I chose. So I know a lot of women out there now. You can pick if you don't know it. If you don't have a baby, if you want to, they let you pick when you want to have your baby. If you want a cesarean, okay. If you want to pick your baby due date, you can. I didn't want to pick my child's due date. I wanted to give birth. So that's the second time you feel robbed. So even, I mean, I literally, Mo, I felt robbed. I cried. I acted a donkey in the doctor's office. I think that was the first time I ever got about it. No, yep, that was the first time I ever got about it with my doctor. And he was like a second dad to me. I was like, why do I have to do this? I was like, that's not fair. Like I was acting like a 3-year-old because I wanted to go through the fact of having contractions, giving labor. A lot of women like, oh, you lucky. You don't want to go through. No, I wanted to birth my child. You know what I mean? And I felt robbed. Even when I think about it right now, it kind of made me feel some kind of way because I'm like, I didn't get to go through that. I didn't get to go through, oh, baby, get the bag and just drive to the hospital in time. It was scheduled. And I could never forget when I went in there, I told the lady, um, each surgery, I tell them, I say, you only gonna stick me once. So make sure you got the right person in here. When I went to the myomectomy, I told them that. Then when I went to have a cesarean and they had to stick me, I say, look, you got to stick me in my back. Hey, you only got once. Don't jack it up.
Mm.
So, but yeah, that's the second time I think throughout the process, Mo, I felt robbed. And again, Cedric was very supportive. He was like, it doesn't matter. We're still having our baby. Remember, he brought me back to the fact like, hey, you weren't even supposed to have him. You know what I mean? According to them. So what I'm saying is for the women out there who's hearing you may never have a child, only time will tell. Only time will equate to, and I think we get people say things to us so much it get embedded in our heads because like if you recall, I had already made up in my mind I didn't want no kids.
Yeah.
So even the whole while I was pregnant, it was like people asked me how I felt about being pregnant. True story, I hated it. That's the one thing I hated. I'm not gonna say hate it. I dislike because someone always asks me, "How you feel about being pregnant?" I was like, I say I feel like I'm in sticker shock. You know how when you go buy the new car and you buy it and you smell it, and then when you drive off 3 days later, you're like, "What the hell have I done?" That's what I felt like, and it's not like I didn't want my child because I love my child. He is my everything next to my husband. Well, before my husband. Let me rephrase that. He already know that, but I had already made up in my mind. I think even in my mind, even though I was pregnant, and I enjoyed my pregnancy, I flourished, I enjoyed hearing my son's heartbeat, but in my mind, I still was in sticker shock. And the whole while, as I'm going through this cesarean, you're up and they're tugging and pulling on you, and all of this here. Only thing I was saying is, "Where my baby at? I don't hear him. Where my baby at?" My husband said, "If you say that one more time." So he was very supportive from soup to deliver in the kitchen, which I call a child. You know what I mean? And then the nuts and the bolts, because after that, like I say, we went through a 2 year, 3 year time span. Everything was good. My OB kept pushing. He was like, "If you do, you want to have another child, we might need to." Every time I went to the doctor, I was like, "Look, man, I don't want to have them conversations no more. I've done, I've had my child. I'm good." So we got to hey, guess what? You got something growing and we don't know what it is. I can't even recognize it this time. I was like, "What?"
Aliens are coming. The aliens coming.
Yeah, this like in my early 30s now. So
Wow.
again, I'm sitting across. I'm like, "What you talking about? I thought it was taken care of. We had a baby. You took whatever was out with the baby," because again, you asked the question: when you're pregnant, do fibroids grow? Yes, they do. I never. True story. Women dealing with it every day. My husband was on the road because he traveled for work. I was in my house crawling on my floor. I was in so much pain. At that time, I did not understand my body because you're pregnant, it's something new. So the baby's growing, right? I know the baby got to grow, but as the baby was growing, the fibroids was growing. So they were fighting for space inside of my uterus. Yes. I
You
got I got in
prepared me.
trouble. Yeah, I got in trouble because I drove myself to the doctor. Don't do that. Just call 911. Call 911. Do not drive yourself to the hospital in pain when you're pregnant. Period. I did. True story.
It'd
If
probably
something
be
was
me.
not,
I don't want to ride in no ambulance.
I was like, they ain't gonna get me there. They gonna kill me. I was like, and I'm gonna explain that. But early 30s, we started having these conversations because now we got some more masses. The doctor can't even recognize them. They're so big. He's worried. He's like, we are at a point where either you need to try to have a child this year or we need to talk other options. So I was like, I'm not doing it. I was like, I got a few more years left in me. So then the pain got worse. And he was like, "No, I want you to be clear and understand what you're asking me for." Because at this point now, I'm asking for the hysterectomy. Okay.
Mm.
I'm asking for it because I'm in so much pain. So he like, "No, I want you to take your time." And he was like, "So, you sure this what you want to do?" I say, "Look, I can't function." I say, "I have a child. I was fortunate enough to have one. He's alive and breathing." I say, "Do you have I'm gonna call him dad because I say, Dad, you got a second? I say, you got a crystal ball that tell me if I get pregnant, I'm gonna be able to carry this child to term, and my husband won't have to make a decision between me and that unborn child."
Ooh.
He said, "DeShondra, I can't tell you that." I said, "So then it's time to move forward with a hysterectomy." I was in that much pain. I was in that much pain because I had already knew where I had come from. But then I had this bright idea, right? Mind y'all, when we started this, I told y'all I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nurse, I don't have no kind of medical degree. I had this bright idea. I was like, we could do a partial hysterectomy,
That's
right?
something, right? Isn't that a procedure though?
Yeah, yeah. I was like, we could do a partial hysterectomy. You could just take the one ovary that's bad, and you can leave everything else, and we can work it out, right? I fought him tooth and nail. He did what I asked for. He cleaned. Now, mind you, now the fibroids are no longer in the uterus. That we got is something growing in my ovaries. So he took one ovary. The other ovary had some stuff on the outside. He cleaned it up. We tested it. He tested it. He said, "Whew, it's non-cancerous. We're good." So now I only got a partial hysterectomy, right? One ovary. They took one ovary out. I was like, "Okay, I'm golden." I think maybe 2 years went by, or maybe a year, maybe a year. I was back in pain,
That's surgery
and I
number
was
what? That's surgery number.
That was that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So I was like, but remember, mind you, I ain't no doctor, but this is the relationship that we had. He trusted me enough because I think women that are going through this, we know our body so much, how much you can take. So I was like, well, maybe I could just do a partial just in case this how I was. I was like, through my head, I was like, I just do a partial, we'll remove one ovary. Maybe if I want another child, because at this point now I'm like, I might want to have another baby, right? My baby's only 4 at this point, I think, or something. So I'm like, maybe I messed up. Maybe I shouldn't have, maybe I'm going too far. Okay, we can just, it wasn't a year later. It wasn't a year. I said, that's it. I was like, take it out. He was like, are you absolutely sure? He was like, no, I want you to think about it. But I say, no, I can't. Went, had the surgery. This was the first, now I knew it was serious because this was the first time I had ever had to get a wristband for a possible transfusion.
Blood transfusion.
They had to put on a wristband like, hey, this procedure is so serious. She might lose too much blood and we might have to give her a blood transfusion. And I'm going to tell you why. That's what I'm saying. Do not let these diseases go unchecked, ladies. I waved the white flag, and he listened. He listened this time because I was like, nah, I can't no more. So I waved the white flag. My doctor, we moved forward. We went into the surgery.
I'm here.
The full hysterectomy. When he did this full hysterectomy, I had what was known as a frozen pelvic. Oh, my uterus had grown as far up and wide as it could. Remember when we started this conversation, we talked about endometriosis. The endometriosis had to where my uterus and everything was attached to my organs. So the endometriosis, my uterus, like I say, I don't know how far and wide it can grow inside of you, but I imagine, I'm like a balloon, right? Like a balloon inside of a box. So that means my uterus was connected to my intestines, my stomach. It was connected to everything. I think I was supposed to be in that procedure for maybe an hour. I think I ended up being in that procedure for like over 2 hours.
Wow.
And I remember waking up and him coming in to check on me. He said, you did, girl. He said, you did good, girl. I'm proud. I think he said baby girl or something like that. I think he called me baby girl. He said, you did good. Mind you, my OB, he has 5 daughters. So he was like, you did good, baby girl. I'm proud. He was like, we didn't even have to do a blood transfusion. He said, I'm glad I listened to you. And he pat me on my leg. He said, you were absolutely right. It was time. So that's why I say in the beginning, you just have to find that right OB to build a relationship so you can build that relationship to advocate. Because even when you pushing yourself to say, yeah, go on, do this, go on, snatch it out. I'm sick of this. They like, nah, pump your brakes. You moving too fast. Slow down. We ain't even tried step 4 and you already on step 10.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But when step 10 hit and they kind of can agree with you. So, I mean, I say that to say, like, I am one of those women who was faced with endometriosis and uterine fibroids and had to have a hysterectomy. Everything was completely gone. I think I was like 33. Yep.
Wow. Man, I mean, I couldn't even imagine. I know just the little news that I have and possibly conversation that I totally appreciate this conversation because then it gives me some insight of when I have to have my conversation with the doctor and the direction, what extra info I need to be asking about outside of the uterine fibroids.
And you know what, Mo, that's what you asked me. What made me so passionate about it is because one, I saw it, I ain't gonna even lie, I saw it on reality TV and I got pissed off. I say, oh, so now it's important because XYZ got it. Now it's an issue. Now y'all want to advocate for people. I was like, man, I ain't watching this crap no more. I got pissed off. As I said, I think I walked around here mad for a week. And then not only that, I'm like,
I don't watch reality TV, so tell me what happened.
It was Real Housewives of Atlanta. I'm just
So
saying.
so
So
she
one of the people, they were like, they had to go to the doctor. It was a small little, oh, I got fibroids, and they put the little thing at the end of the screen and made it a entertainment moment, like, oh, pander to the people, like, oh, we care. I'm like, what?
hmm.
It don't even go like that. It don't. That's how I was, like, real, like, I was about it, man. I was like down south, man. Like, what? Like, this move, you know. Like, I was really, I was. It rocked me to my soul, because it was like, women are dealing with this on a regular basis, and y'all make it seem like, oh, I got this little thing and I'm okay, and check the box, because it's the month for it, I think it was. You know what I mean? But it wasn't like showing you the nitty gritty of what women are really dealing with and going through. And then I realized, like, what prompted me, I think, to even bring it up on the call, because I was talking to somebody and they were telling me their person story. Like, this person has been told they can't have any kids, possibly. They've gone to procedures, they haven't gotten any resolve, and now they're at the point where they may have to have a hysterectomy. But they've been going through this for years. So if the little bit, if my story can help somebody to advocate for themselves, that's all I'm trying to do.
Someone posted in the chat. Let me see. He's 365 Insight. He said, "Is it true or myth that fibroids are more common among African American women? Every woman I have ever met, including my mom, has had issues with either ovarian cysts or fibroids."
I I
I'm not
mean,
sure.
from research, it does show. I mean, like, I would have to look it up, 365. However, I think from research, I think we are the highest
Highest
component carriers. And I don't know if
rate.
it's because I don't know if it's because of our our genetic makeup, or I don't know if it's just because it's being discovered
Now, there's another
amongst us.
chat. She said that just popped in. I appreciate you all for tuning in. Totally appreciate all the sisters for tuning in, and those males our sisters who actually give an insight. She said, I've had problems with fibroid tumors for a long time. After my 12th blood transfusion, I've decided to have my uterus removed, but I did carry three beautiful kids full term with fibroid tumors. Wow.
And it's not
It
easy
give me a
when
little, that
you.
give me hope, Nikki. Thank you, Nakia.
Yeah, thank you, Nakia. And girl,
Yes,
because
yes,
it's hard carrying a child, but if you're carrying a child with those fibroids in there fighting for space, it's hard. It's hard. I thank you for sharing that, Nakia, because you're kind of letting women know, and that's what I want to let women know too. Is like, even though we hear that you'll never be able to, that's not the final end all or say all or be all. You know what I'm saying? Your body's gonna do what it do. If it's meant to be, it might not be in your time, but it'll happen.
right.
So
It's man, definitely appreciate you. All the content and info, being bold for standing up. We know feminine issues is, it's so insensitive sometimes. You don't feel secure. You just you really want to talk about it. It's something from having a cycle to dealing with a hysterectomy is has been it's just kind of plagued us and kind of taboo conversation. So I definitely appreciate you exposing and wanting to educate the community out there. Angie, are you there? Angie, are you here? Are you on? You listening? Angie usually has some good insight. She's probably still trading the market. She got about 39 minutes.
she's on. I think she got us on mute. I can't tell.
Yeah, she's not on mute, but I'm not sure what she's doing. Hey, Shamika. I ain't seen Shamika in almost 5 months. They must be in the backdrop somewhere doing something other than Empress. She said, yes, true. I carried a set of twins with fibroids. Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
I'm telling you, and that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what makes my heart feel good, because we hear the bad side of the story, but we don't hear the good side of the story. A lot of us still come out in the end and can have kids. or end up carrying children. So I thank you ladies for really, yeah,
Definitely.
facts.
Definitely, thanks for sharing. And I need you guys to go to Instagram. Definitely make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Let me I never have this stuff ready when I need to have it ready. Go to Instagram and Sister DeShondra, she's in a competition with Ink Magazine, and so we need you guys to go click the link and make sure you vote. You can get one free vote per 4 days. One free vote per 4 days. Let me put it in the chat. Put the link in the chat.
Yep, you get one free. I'll talk about it more while you pulling it up. You can vote. You just click the link. You can click on there for one free vote for the next 2 days. The competition. Well, I made it over to round two.
Oh, cool.
So this will push me to round three. If I make it, I don't know how they do it. I think it's the top 10 will go to round three, or the top 15 will go to round three. So this is round two. You click the link, you vote one link you click on it once within a 24-hour period and you can vote. So Ink Magazine is a tattoo magazine. If you've seen me, I'm a freak of nature for tattoos. It's a way of expressing my life and just the different journeys and how I feel and things like that. And I've been trying to get it. I found my email mode. I've been trying to get in this competition since 2013.
What?
Yes, I found my link since 2013. I have been trying to get in this competition. Do you hear me? So I didn't get in the link. I didn't get in this. I didn't even make it to the competition 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017. They didn't do it last year. This year I made it in the competition, so I'm super stoked. And I made it to round two, so I'm like, floating
Yeah.
on cloud. So yeah,
Yeah.
and if you go to my Instagram page, follow my Instagram page, you can see my journey there, my fitness journey. We'll be training for a competition, or I'll be training for my next competition for May, and it'll be in South Carolina most, so I'll keep you
Woo-hoo!
posted.
You know we coming, girl. We gonna
Yeah,
be.
I gotta confirm with my trainer, but I'm hoping that's the one we go to. I'm hoping I can.
I hope
I'm
so
gonna have to
too.
grind hard.
Look at this. Look. Let me just show y'all a little bit of videos of how she get it in the gym, y'all. Look at this.
This online program gonna be serious, Mo. This little
Mm.
this little workout program gonna be serious.
So I'm talking about. I had to walk today. My trainer made me walk.
Woo, woo.
I went outside. Had to do some heel toe walking, um, and everything, and of course some squats and some leg raises. Wore me out because I was coming out of the chiropractor. Um, let me show y'all. Hold on. Let me show y'all these leg press. Where the guys at? Who want this smoke in Carolina in May? Who want who want to come get some? Hold up. Let me find it. Hold on. It's on here. Six
I'm
plate.
telling y'all, if y'all could go, if you go to my Instagram, this is where you'll follow
Look at the
follow
pets.
my bodybuilding journey, because this is where I post my videos. This is where I post my competitions. This is where I post posing practice. This is where I put workouts.
Look at the
This is where I put a little bit of
trophies.
everything
I
so
want
that
you
you
to
can
post.
see.
Can you post your awards where we can see what's on them?
Yeah, I'll
I'll
post
be
a
over there
picture
trying
with
to
them
zoom them
clothes.
in. Those things are gorgeous. Look at her, y'all. Like, this is phenomenal.
Yeah,
Phenomenal.
I'll post it most so you can see them a little bit closer. I actually take a picture of them. I've never done that actually, so now you making me
Yeah, take a picture of them. I'm like, why she don't take no picture? I can't even see them. And I
like the
support you
first
guys
the
can
first.
donate to her cause. I've donated, supported the sister. You know, buy their products when they're promoting the sales of the jewelry. Sales. Cedric is an artist, so he make things. Look at this. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying. I forgot what I was saying, Mo.
Oh,
It was something about working out. I be getting
here we go.
pumped by working out.
Yeah, look at this. Look at this right here. Where the fellas at? Who want that smoke? There you go. 6 plates eat on my phone. It's too small. You can't see. Oh, the name. Hold on, let me put it in the chat. Instagram. It's a BDESHONDRA. That's the Instagram. You wish you was that strong? Empress, me too. Do you see that? Hey, listen, I just want to shape up. Listen, I want to look like this by the summer. Well, I know maybe not by the summer, but at least getting down into these little silhouettes or whatever. I want to be able to show off like I'm gonna show off just like that too, Joe. Y'all don't come to my page if y'all don't want to see you, right? I ain't gonna have those tattoos, but I want to tone. I want to look sexy naked. Okay, that's the goal. I don't care about nothing else. Sexy naked. That's it. Sexy naked.
That make sure. Hey, Mo, this how crazy sad is. He talking about, hey, you're not gonna do the red light challenge. I say, boy, leave me alone.
What, red light challenge? You gonna go down the pole? Oh
No,
my!
the challenge they be doing on TikTok. I'm like, boy, get out of here.
Please, they ain't ready. We want some real oil. So the competition, the next competition is 25K on the line. Okay, you guys, 25,000 for that Ink magazine. Yes,
Yeah.
you show out because she worked hard for it. Tell them about your journey, getting to that point. When did you start? When did you start your journey for being a bodybuilder? I've been following your transition, so I remember these pictures, and I watched. I'm like, wow, DeShondra is a trooper, and I'm just looking. I should have been started at the same time you were. Maybe I'd be up and walking right now, or whatever.
You know, bodybuilding is different. It's a mind. Um, it's more mental than it is physical. I think once you get the mental, like you can't eat this, you can't drink this, you can't have that, you can't do that, you can't put that in your body. I mean, you got to get that under control to be in a bodybuilding realm. I mean, but just to work out, you just got to still get some kind of mental. You have to get your mental wrapped around anything you do, right? I think for me, like the bodybuilding, like I say, it's something I always wanted to do. I think since I was like 14. So I'm surprised. Okay, ain't nobody asked yet. Okay. All right.
What?
I thought somebody was gonna ask me how old I was, but
Um,
since 14 is something I wanted to do, you know what I'm saying? And like I say, it's been 3 years, and I know the very first time that I did this, Mo, I was going hard because I was like, ain't nobody gonna tell me I can't do this. You know what? Somebody told me. They were like, you ain't gonna be able to compete. You're not gonna be able to do that. They don't want you to get down to this size.
yeah, because when
So
you look at these pictures, go ahead, keep talking. I'm gonna bring the
I was
picture.
like, I won't be able to do what? I can't do what? I can't, huh? So like now off stage, I'm one way, on stage, I'm another way. So, and I mean, you're very thin on stage. But my thing is, it was the self-determination and the drive because it's something I wanted. And if something my trainer always tell me, she's like, who want this? This is what you want, right? So I think that keeps me on my journey during quarantine. I trained during quarantine. A lot of people stopped training during quarantine. I didn't have a gym. So, I mean, you don't have to have a gym to begin to get physically fit. You don't have to have a gym to begin to change your lifestyle. You don't have to have a gym to exercise. You don't have to have a treadmill. You don't have to have any of that. You have to have the mindset to go after what you want for a health and physical perspective. Like you say, Mo, you just want to be naked and be
Yeah, I
have a
just want to
silhouette.
look cute
So
naked.
guess what? That's what I'm saying. So guess what? You're gonna get to a point where you look cute naked because you already got the vision, you're gonna look cute naked. I already had the vision. I'm gonna step on stage. Now, the very first show that I did, if you go to my Instagram, be DeShondra, and you follow it, you'll have to go all the way down. You'll see my very first show. In that show, you'll see you'll see compared to the show in this transitional photo, and then this photo right here was my last show in the blue mode. That was my last show right there. Go to that one, Mo, with all three of those pictures. To the left, that picture. When you look at this, you can look at the difference in my stance. You can look at the difference in my smile. You can look at the difference in my
You doing
body
that?
posture. When I
Oh,
first started, I knew it
guys.
was what I wanted to do. The photo on the left was my very first show. Every show that I did, I've placed three in my division. Every show.
Mm,
These two on the left are one category. This third one is like my first time doing that category, and it was my very first time in the blue suit doing that category at a large show, and I placed third. So I'm super proud. It took me a long time to see that. Even at the show, I was very heartbroken because I didn't get first place on those shows. But I had to have time to process it. So I say that to say it's all about the mental. The first show, my stance, if you look at my stance, if you look at my smile, if you go back and you watch and you see some of the photos I posted from the first show,
yep.
I
I,
knew I wanted to do it, but I didn't know I was in love with doing it.
mm,
There's a difference. That is what keeps me on this path, is because I love what I'm doing. Just like your job. If you go to your job, people grouch you because you feel like you have to be there. But if you go to or work for yourself or in a field or whatever in what you love, your whole tone, your whole body, your whole mind, it all shifts. And that's what happened for me. Even from my last show with that blue suit on
uh-huh.
to going into the season I am now, it took time for me to get my mind to where it is right now today, Mo. Like
Mm.
it took time for me to be like, you love this. Like you love this shit. You love this. You do this because you love it. It ain't you do it because of what somebody think. And again, the supportive husband that I have, Cedric, the supportive guy that he is.
And Cedric
You want
gotta
to
be
know why?
supportive to have you on that stage with them like that, boy.
No,
You gotta
let
be
me tell
confident.
you. Let me tell you. At first, I wasn't posting photos. Like, I wasn't posting my body being all exposed. I wasn't posting all of that because I was like, I don't want to be looked at a certain kind. He like, what you mean? Go right there, Mo. Go
Which
back
one?
up.
This one?
See that
Go back
picture
up.
with the two? Ooh, stop right there. Click that picture
Which one? This one?
to the right with the two, all the photos on it, and the one at the top with the black suit on.
Wait a minute. Hold up.
Hmm. He the one
Oh,
told me
right
to
here.
start posting it. Yeah, that one. My husband is the one advocating to me, you need to post these photos. People need to see what you're doing. People need to
Yes.
know that they can do this. People need to know all they got to do is get up and whatever they want from a physical perspective, it may not be at your level, they can achieve it. That
And
is
you
why I
inspired
post the
me. Thank you,
photos.
Cedric, because you definitely inspired me. I was like, shit, I want to be cute too.
That is why I started posting the photos. So if you look at this photo at the top, this was my first day at posing practice to compete.
Mm.
Look at that picture and then go to the picture in the middle because that's
That's
the
a
same.
huge difference.
It's all about the confidence in yourself. It's all about that self love. And you know what I had to do, Mo, to get to where I am? I had to spend time with myself.
Yes.
I had to pull myself away from others and focus on me and pour into me. And that is what keeps me doing what I'm doing because I love it. I love it. I
Mm.
mean, nothing else, Mo.
Man, listen, I've watched this along the whole time. I've watched this and I'm like, man.
And these are all the ladies on my team. We all did, of course, we're all like different classes, different. If you get into bodybuilding, you'll learn depending on your height, you're in a different
Mhm.
class, a different category, a different type. We all did this same show together.
Mm.
So we were there as a team and it was awesome.
So that was your team. Mm.
Hmm.
Wow.
But you could run against one of your teammates. Like you could be on the stage with one of your teammates.
Wow.
Hmm.
Wow. Do y'all ever train together?
Yeah. When we have time, we try to with our coach. I love my coach. I love my coach and trainer. I love her. I mean, like, I love her so much. That's my husband right there, Mo.
Yeah, of course I know that, Cedric. Of course. I know who Cedric is.
So that's the guy that I mean,
Tell him I
I
won't
can't
hold
even
the Marines against him.
Okay.
I won't hold the Marines against him.
I mean, he's the one pushing me like, these are, hey, this what you want. He like, I'm fine with it. You the one not fine with it.
Yeah,
You
you
have to
make
be
him look
okay
like
with it.
you looking like the king. Hey, look, he like, shoot. That's why someone had posted in the chat the other day. They were like, on bodybuilding, you know, that something in reference to men don't find it attractive. I'm like, shit, she don't need no man. Her said you've been married 19 years. Shit, they
Right. No, this year be 25, Mo.
oh shit, I'm 25.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, listen, my hat goes off to y'all. Much love to Cedric. Thank you for taking care of my sister, being her supporter, provider, man. You just don't know. Where he at anyway?
He's cooking dinner.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm about to say, peep your head up in here so they can
I
see
don't
the
know.
man
He
behind the
took a
man.
picture. He doing something. He's listening because he took a picture when you said take a picture of the medals of your medals. He took a picture and sent it to me, so I'm gonna post it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Look at this,
So
y'all.
he listening. I don't know what he
Showing
doing, but he
out.
listening.
This is a little video. Let me see.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't. You gonna come out on this?
It's gonna take a while. He recorded it.
Okay.
It's gonna take a minute. That's why I say if everybody goes to my page, like that's where
Support.
you'll be able to see things.
Okay.
In third tonight, number 83, DeShondra Brown.
What?
Oh, there you go.
Okay, that's all I want to hear. Garfield will kill me that
Yep.
music.
Yeah.
Yeah, she walked out on straight up. Go ahead, girl. I'm loving it. I've been loving it since.
So, and I mean, like that's why I wanted to talk to women and just show them, like, that's my trainer right there
Wait, we're
with
here.
that leopard shirt on.
Right here.
This is my trainer. Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. Now, do she compete?
She used to compete. She went pro.
Oh.
She was a pro athlete. Yes.
Mm.
Her name is Unica Desir.
Okay.
That is my trainer.
High five.
I love her.
We thank you. We're paying our sis.
Team Sweat 904 Unica Desir if you want to get into competing. I do personal training, but I do not do competition training. She was like, you can do it. I was like, no, I'm focused on me when it comes to competitions. Because, a lot of times, if you start mixing
right
things, you can lose that passion, and you don't want to lose that passion.
This her, right?
What's that? Oh,
well, I clicked the wrong thing.
I don't see your screen yet.
Oh, hold on.
It's still on you.
I'm not sure. Okay, right here. This one, right?
Yep, that's her.
That's her, y'all. There's the coach.
That's my trainer.
Competition coach.
That's the competition coach.
Get with her.
And you can Google her and they can find her actual photos of her when she competed. If you type her name in Google, she'll come up.
Just all of this right here. Oh, let me see.
No, her photos of her when she competed.
Yeah, you say her name, the Unica?
Yeah, her name. I'm just glad that we could educate people.
This is her?
Yep, that's her. Yes.
Eureka.
Yep, that is Unica Desir, my coach and trainer. That's the competition coach. I love her. Like I say, the coach, I always have a coach, man.
Let's see if I can get it. Wow. Look at her. Yeah.
Yep.
She qualified.
I knew you'd enjoy seeing those photos too, Bo. Yeah.
Yeah. It's motivate me. Like I'm trying, I'm trying to get to the place of mobility. So any inspiration, works. Like I'm just like I want to be on the beach just like that. Forget what you heard, you know what I'm saying? I just want to feel good about being back in order, so to speak. Wow, she's good.
You'll get there. So that's what put the fire under me, Mo. So I thank you for allowing me to come on and kind of share my story, talk about a little bit who I am and what I do and all of those things. So I appreciate that as well, Mo.
Yep. So definitely. definitely. Oh, here we go. Yeah. So anybody have any questions, you can hit the sister up on her Instagram. Please make sure you guys go out there and vote. I appreciate all your time on this evening. Definitely greatly appreciate you jumping on the lives in the morning on the 60-day challenge. We're on day 10. It means a lot. And to be consistent with it, it means even more. Support is important, sharing each other's story, anything that help anyone else. I love the social media space because of the fact that if I did not have access to multiple women, then I wouldn't get the information that I've gotten. So I appreciate you, DeShondra. And tell Cedric high five. Army strong. All
I will.
right. Thank you,
Oh,
sis. And
Mo,
yes, yes.
how do I go vote for her?
Oh, Shamika, you fired. Go to the hold on. Let's see. How you doing? I ain't heard from you in forever.
I'm all right, hanging in there.
This is her Instagram page right here. And in the bio, you see, here's the link right here. cover.inkmag.com/2021 DeShondra Brown.
Okay, because I already subscribed to her, so I just got to go there. Okay.
Yeah, look in the bio of the Instagram.
All right.
Okay, and make sure you guys follow her and support. Send a donation when she's looking for some support. Every little bit counts. Okay.
Competitions cost money. Thank you, Mo.
Definitely.
All right. Thank you, sis. You have a good one. I know you gotta go enjoy your family.
Peace and power, everyone.
Peace, power, and profit. All right. So yes, make sure you guys like the show, share the show, and make sure you are subscribing. We definitely appreciate all you guys. We thank you for your support and everything. I know you guys came for the investments. Y'all know how we get it down economically on the Urban Economic Empowerment Show. But I wanted to make sure this information got out. It came up in our early morning session. We wanted to make sure we brought more awareness to women out there and men alike on the fibroids or the endometriosis. If you all are suffering out there, or you probably bleeding out of control, you don't really know what it is, make sure you ask your doctor, ask questions, whether you are young, teen, young adult, or you kind of seasoned. Okay, don't let it go unchecked. As the sister said, don't let it go unchecked. It's very important that we keep up with our health and wellness. If you guys are interested in the morning, every morning at 6:30 a.m., we're live. Okay, you can jump on the panel, and we're going through my 6-day journey. We're on day number 10. Okay, I have goals that I'm trying to reach. I'm working really hard. I have a trainer, I go to chiropractic, I'm in physical therapy, and most of all, I have my support group, which is all of you. So shout out to those who always, who are here and who participate in. Tasha, Janisa, Katasha, Angie, DeShondra, Sherry, Carla, Latrice, and every other woman that's out there who's participating in silence, Brandy and all you guys. I know you guys have kids in the morning, so you can always jump on, but join us on Saturdays and Sundays sometimes. You can always go back to sleep. Just us. Appreciate you, man. Dynamic 3D, Brother African Emporium. All of you all who has at some point, July, I forgot the brother name, but the two other brothers who jumped on and offered words of encouragement or even asked questions and looked for advice. Hey, for all the men out there who are also being challenged, who are going through their health and fitness wealth, hey, listen, high five to you all. Looking forward to some results in March, okay? Make sure you guys getting your meal preps in, you're getting your water in, you're getting sufficient exercises, and you're jotting down your goals. If things aren't working right, change the strategy, but don't change the goal. Make sure it's smart, attainable, okay? It's timely, things that you can actually benchmark. I'm about to start journaling. I would encourage you to do the same. Get back to the basics, whether you do it electronically or you do it manually, whatever works for you. Okay. So shout out to all of you all. Yes, sis. Thank you. I'm going to close out this live so that if brothers want to come back and talk about investments, that we can. I want this show to kind of stand alone. So you all, I'm gonna put another link in the chat in a few minutes, okay? So much love, you guys. I see you in a second. Peace. Thanks, Brother Garfield, for allowing me to be on your platform. Of course, Dagger Squad, high five.